Guatemala. She is a place of beauty. She rises and sets on the tide. She is a place of culture, of business, of class, of tradition, of history, mystery, fertility, family, food, of community. It is also a place of waste, of confusion, pollution, diesel fuels, broken glass, and barbed wire. There are also many dedicated people working to change the conditions here for the better. Guatemala is rich with human capital and an appreciation for a hard day's work. Trash, the consumer garbage frontier. Styrofoam, plastic bags, cans, bottles. Decades of neglected waste smother this majestic place. Virtually all packaging or consumer material of any kind is dumped in the streets, then later gathered and set aflame. Packs of homeless people and dogs fight and scavenge through endless heaps of toxic burning trash. Education. Consistent with numerous other countries globally, quality public education is hard to find. The CIA World Factbook ranked Guatemala as the last country in Central America for education last year. Nutrition. More than half of the population is below the national poverty line, and 15% lives in extreme poverty. 43% of children under 5 are chronically malnourished, one of the highest malnutrition rates in the world. What is the solution? Is there a solution?
El Infinito means endless. It means a space of a time that has no limits.
El Infinito's mission is to provide a space
where through cultural activities we focus on the importance of the connection of Mother Nature with humanity.
The concept of El Infinito is to be a community center, to provide the community of Xela with access to information and to really empower the people to better their lives, to be more sustainable and to be healthier people.
You know, as a Guatemalan, I think we really have a beautiful country. We have in abundance rain, soil, and sunshine.
El Infinito is going to provide workshops and classes such as organic gardening, cooking, nutrition, food preserving. We'll provide access to classes and workshops. We'll bring in experts to come teach about vermicomposting. We'll bring in people to come talk about art and music and community building. And we're going to try to involve all aspects of the community, from young people to old people and everywhere in between.
An important fact is that here in Guatemala, almost 70% of the population is under 18 years old. That means we are a very young country. And that means that there's a lot of energy in that youth, and that energy needs to be focused.
La intención está clara. Se quiere mostrar que otras formas de vida son posibles.
Waste is a big problem. It's actually one of the biggest causes of pollution of water and soils.
Try to buy things that don't come in plastic, that don't have a lot of packaging. Here it's very common that you go into a tienda and if you buy one single item, they'll try to give you a plastic bag. You know, you go to the market and you buy tomatoes, they'll give you a bag for tomatoes, one for onions, one for, and so it's very easy to bring home a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, one of the largest problems that I see in Guatemala, and that when I talk with other Guatemalan friends, is trash. And what do you do with piles and heaps of plastic bottles and plastic bags? And that's a huge, huge issue. So El Infinito is trying to address that by showing people and providing an example, a living, working example of ways to reduce the impact of all the trash that we have.
So for example, we've used bottles of soda or boxes of wine, and we've used them as small pots so that we can start growing stuff. And so the idea is not only that we use something and then turn it to waste and hand it over to someone else to take care of it, but to be able to reuse these materials and give them, a second form of use.
We went and got old beat up tires and we stacked them 4 high and filled them with newspaper and kitchen scraps and put in some worms that we were given, and it's now a working, living vermicomposting system. Vermicomposting can be used for many things, but it's a really amazing way to reduce what goes into the waste stream. It provides nutrient-dense soil that is converted from old material into new living earth. Currently we have 2 locations in Xela. The first one is the headquarters, where we have a small organic garden demonstration center. And the second one is really a much larger endeavor. It is at Juan Pablo's house.
We've built our compost, and everything we used to build it, we already had. It works fine. You don't need much to build it. We had people who were willing to come and help us build it. Built something and didn't spend any money on it. One of our objectives with the program as well, that we don't only make the education available, but also some of the resources. So hopefully we can have composts, and hopefully we can make like organic fertilizer, and grow starters, and have seeds that we can later sell to people or give out to people. The idea of like organic fertilizers and organic pesticides isn't something easy to come across in Guatemala.
Local and organic food production is not very common or a big movement in general in the country, but especially here in Quetzaltenango.
I wouldn't say it's very accessible.
Most of the Guatemalans don't have access to organic food. Most of them are going to go to the market, and all of them include, chemical fertilizers and pesticides and stuff.
We also see the problems of malnutrition. Nutrition and health are intimately related to each other. What you eat, it really is who you are. So if you're eating a diet full of tortillas and corn and rice and potatoes and meat, and high in fat and carbohydrates, low in vegetables and fruits, you're going to have diabetes, and the prevalence of diet-related diseases such as heart disease and cardiovascular disease is going to be much more. The educational system here, like in many places, is really broken, and lack of education is a huge problem.
Education is a big one. Education is the system that is drawing a path in our lives since we are very, very young in order to become part in the society.
We think that education is the most important vehicle that we can use to address the problems that we see in Guatemala. We want to maintain cultural sensitivity, and we really want to empower people to embrace their culture here and to do things in a culturally sensitive way.
We can do it. We can demonstrate and practically demonstrate that it's a possibility. It's perfectly possible.
Son ideas para el mundo entero. Claro, estamos en Guatemala, pero tú puedes aplicar estas mismas ideas en cualquier otro país. Entonces, es una idea para el mundo.
Wherever we're living, we have to take care of our planet. Little things that people can do to contribute, I mean, whatever we do in El Infinito or Xela is not going to stop global warming. But, it's like, this is our contribution to that, to try to change people's minds, and especially with the way you run your house. I think, all those places have great potential to be, gardens and terrace gardens, and for people to, be able to just walk upstairs and pick up their own, pick their own tomatoes and, use their own lettuce, and and it's something that once people know how to do it and know that it can save them money, and in the end you're helping out yourself, and you're healthier because you eat better, and it helps out the environment, then it's just an idea that has to work, and that it'll pick up, and people will just be enthusiastic about it.
The problems that Guatemalans face are problems that people face worldwide. El Infinito is simply an example of a small group of people with visions of big change, immediate change, change for themselves, change for their communities, change for Guatemala, change for the world. Think globally, act locally. How can you be a part of El Infinito? Grow a garden.
pusieron play, al hip hop hacemos rey. No mates the day, con él todo está ok. Always lo quiero para los míos, que el hip hop esté vivo saliendo de tantos líos. Mi declaración es con principio, hip hop mantiene al mundo unido. Se pensó que estaba perdido, casi se olvidó que ayudar y compartir es dejar de sufrir. Ya nadie quiere herir, pero ya no soy chapín desde que salí de la city. Ahora soy maíz, hip hop es la raíz. Universo de graffiti que pinto para ti. Siempre gracias te voy a decir. Me hiciste MC, a donde sea que vaya te voy a repartir, hasta concluir que contigo el amor tiene fin. Love and peace, pintar un mundo más feliz.
Vengo pintando palabras, pintando inmundos maravillas que obran, soñando profundo en los cielos, entre las estrellas volando, con mi corazón de niño siempre amor dando. Con esta melodía de sinfonía, volando a ras y suelo o acariciando los cielos. En esta expedición es un vuelo en mi mundo de armonía, flotando sin espera en la esfera. La belleza de las notas